So as most of you know, I am an attorney. My name is Michael Eline, and you can get a hold of me by calling 833. Let's see if we got it going back here. I don't see anybody in the chat, so that tells me that I might have a bad connection. All right, I'll try to start over here. As most of you may or may not know, I am attorney Michael Eline. I am an attorney licensed in California and Texas, and I do these lawyer workouts in the morning to try to motivate people who are going through depression, who have lost loved ones, lost property like in a fire, getting older, getting depressed, whatever. Hey, Mias, how are you? Good seeing you, ma'am. And I have a live audience. Anyone brave enough to get up early enough with me. And as many of you know, my father died from Agent Orange. He was a Vietnam Marine. I was also a Marine, wanted to be like him. And so I'm going through a little bit of depression too. And I saw what happened with these people in the Palisades Fires. And I wanted to give you some hope and just to let you know that there is maybe not a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but there's a beautiful moon. Look at this moon, hold on. Look at that, wow. Beautiful moon. Let's get a look at that bad chicken. That's what I'm talking about, beautiful full moon. Life goes on. But it doesn't mean that we let Pacific Gas and Electric and these losers like Gavin Newsom and his diversity, equity, and inclusion fire department, people that were put into positions of power solely based upon their lack of qualifications and instead based upon the way they look or their sexual preference or whatever it is. So no, we don't let incompetence rule over us. And I have a hard time believing that most of those people in the Palisades and these other areas wanted that to begin with, because most of those people had to work their butts off to buy those homes and to live in that beautiful area. And for whatever reason, they got stuck with the crummy government. And so today, and by the way, if you guys need to get a hold of me, if you want to learn more about suing PG&E, if you want to learn more about suing any incompetent government agency, you can just call 833 Let's Sue. So what I do on these workouts, hey Noah, good seeing you. May not have a big audience today because this probably isn't a super hot topic for most of my viewers, but we're gonna go to the park and do a lawyer workout. And this is where I try to stay motivated and teach you guys that there is a way to stay in shape without going to the gym every day. And as you guys probably have noticed if you watch my show in the evening, I changed my cameras so you could see the back view of me while I'm working, and you can see I got a pretty nice lat spread. And that's because that's just from going to the park doing pull-ups. So yeah, there's some genetics at play there. Being a Swede, we probably do have good back development probably from thousands of years of oaring Viking longships, right? Longboats. But still, you got to develop it, right? Doesn't matter how good your genetics are. If you don't develop it, you're not going to get anywhere. So I'll go to the park and do a quick lawyer workout, teach you guys some of my moves. I'm going to do some uke bands because I like judo, so we'll do some uke bands. I'll teach you guys some throwing techniques that I use to basically help me increase my core strength. And we'll talk. Hey, Mias, yeah, that's right. Hey, what's going on, Noah? You're Australian, huh? Good, mate. How you, mate? You know, when my dad was in Vietnam, he used to go on his leave. He would go to Australia. Australia, mate. It's funny you guys say Australia. At least that's the way it sounds to us, Australia. But yeah, I had pictures of him with these drop dead gorgeous Sheilas. Sheilas, mate. Dead gorgeous Sheilas. Outstanding. So you guys know I'm coming at you live from Summerlin, Nevada. So we fled California. You can smell the smoke from the California fires right now. The burning wood smell, and my allergies are going bananas. I would say it's got to be 30 below zero out here. It is cold, Mias. Freaking cold. Like my fingers are, they feel like they're gonna help me. All right. Australia. He's gonna, mate, I'll help you pronounce it. It's Australia. Like Sheila. but Sheila sounds like Sheila, right? Like, and so Sheila is Australian for girl, right? Just like we say chicks in California. In Australia, they say Sheila, mate. Anyways, it's super early. It's super cold, mate. Super cold, mate. Yeah. It's funny, you know, when I was going through this breakup with this girl back when I was a young lad, I wanted to move to Australia, and I was trying to get a job at Total Roll Arena Fitness because I used to manage a health club in Anaheim Hills. And this gal from Australia invited me to come and manage their health club, but Australia House wouldn't let me come in the country without a visa. And as soon as I told them I was going to work, they booted me out of there so fast. So unlike America, other countries protect their borders and their jobs from foreign invaders. So little interesting tidbit of information for you, mate. Anyways, just to get into it, looks like we got a few people that showed up for the chat today. I'm a lawyer, and I'm really disappointed in most lawyers and how they're just disgusting fat bodies, don't take care of themselves. And I have a background as a United States Marine about physical fitness and staying in shape. And yeah, I've kind of let myself go, but hey, I'm over 50 now, so I still look better than most people. Looks like we have some people coming up, so I'm gonna keep it down. But I'm always impressed when I see people up at like 5 in the morning. Good freezing morning, ladies. Good morning. So that's always cool to see a couple people up hustling, trying to stay in shape. All right. So yeah, it is really cold out here, man. Holy moly. Woohoo. So I'm all about trying to stay in shape as much as possible. My background is in judo, Muay Thai, and, you know, up until about 10 years ago, I started doing BJJ. You know, but basically what BJJ is ground fighting. It's Japanese newaza, which comes from judo. And the guy who originally trained the Gracie brothers actually trained under, I think, the founder of judo. And he was a judoka. He was not a jiu-jitsu guy. He was a judoka, and he trained the Gracie brothers, Japanese guy. But the Gracie brothers improved and perfected the ground fighting portion, the newaza portion of judo. And they've kind of gotten away from the throwing techniques in modern, at least in American BJJ, the throwing techniques, which I think are super important, because I believe that you don't even have to get into ground fighting if you can throw someone and drop them on their head. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. So this morning we're gonna go down to the park over here, and mate, the only things Aussies know is where to go for the neck. That's probably true, Noah. Right on, dude. I remember you Australians are some pretty tough dudes. We had a couple of Aussies in my Brazilian jiu-jitsu class, and yeah, you guys don't mess around. I never could understand how you have such a liberal government that like hates freedom, hates self-defense, and yet the men are like real dudes, man, legit. So it always makes me think your elections are rigged, just like California elections, right? So anyways, I'm, all right, let's get into it. So who can you sue for these fires? Who can you sue for the PG&E fires? What's going on? Are they even PG&E fires? And if they are, how do I sue? Who can I sue? What do I do? Well, first of all, PG&E is a private company, but there might be other actors besides PG&E who are at fault, like the DEI fire chief, the mayor, right? LA, Governor Newsom. I mean, incompetent leadership, not having a reservoir filled because they needed to patch something and they let it sit there empty for months, like I think over a year actually. So total systemic failure, some say. And then of course other people think that it was done on purpose. Other people think that the fires in Hawaii, as well as what's happening in California, are done on purpose by mismanagement at the behest of the World Economic Forum. So these scumbags like Klaus Schwab can set up their 15-minute cities and reimagine LA, right? Reimagine. Remember, all the guys that were in charge are all World Economic Forum young global leaders, right? And their goal is to eliminate the carbon life form. And you know what the carbon life form is, right? Carbon life form. Give me a bunch of ones if you know what the carbon life form is. But their goal is to eliminate carbon, and humans are carbon. And you know, they want to get rid of cows because they fart. They say it causes climate change. They want to inject all of our meat with the safe and effective thing that's super safe and effective according to them. Genetic modification through well, I don't even want to say it because they're so connected and they have so much control. They could literally ban my channel if I say anything negative about them, or too negative, that's too true. The more true it is, the more likely you are to be banned on Google and YouTube, say many. So let's see here. Yes, people that don't matter. That's right, Mia Stero. Okay, so guys, I got to tell you, it is cold. And the only reason I'm doing this show today is because I've had a lot of people reaching out to me the last couple of days saying, hey, Mike, we really love your lawyer workouts where you get up super early. It motivates me. I got a couple people that started working out regularly because of me doing this. So here I am, man. So give me a bunch of ones for me freezing my ass off to come out here to try to do a workout this morning with y'all. And we're going to talk a little bit about PG&E and how you can sue. So although PG&E is not a government agency, it could be deemed a quasi-governmental agency. And if that's the case, you would only have 6 months to bring a government claim from the date that you learn that they're responsible for your loss, your fire loss. Now, typically to sue for a personal injury in California, you would have 2 years. You would have 2 years to file that claim. But if you're suing a government agency, you only have 6 months to file an actual claim with the responsible agency. So you'd have 6 months to file a claim against Newsom, against all of his DEI hires, LA, all those people who mismanaged and led to these fires. You'd only have, hey, Chevy, good morning, sir. Thank you for supporting my channel, Chevy. Hey, man, get into an auction off, Chevy. Come on. Give me $1 and tell everybody to match it or they're losers. Like we did at Chili's channel, bro. No, but seriously, you'd only have about 6 months. And that's to make the claim. And you have to make the claim with the correct governmental agency. You can't just, that's not the beginning. Okay, that's just the beginning, it's not the end. Then you have to wait until the time expires for them to accept or deny. And then, and only then, can you actually bring the lawsuit. Hey, thank you, Chevy. Everybody match Chevy's donation or you guys suck wind. So only then would you have the right to bring an actual lawsuit against a governmental agency. And so that's what I specialize in. is, as a personal injury attorney, is suing government agencies, as you guys probably already know, civil rights claims, suing negligent government officials. That's what I do. And today, I'm at the park. So this is the lawyer that you'd hire, is me. See, I try to stay in shape, not just for me, but for my clients, because I believe that your clients should have confidence in who they hire. And there's a lot of lawyers who are just alcoholic, disgusting fat bodies, totally out of shape. And for me, I would never hire someone like that. I don't care what their track record is. To me, obesity, being fat, is a sign of laziness. It's all about nutrition and taking care of your body, because it's all about mind, body, and soul. So that's what we're doing here this morning, is we're gonna do a little bit of a lawyer workout. And Otto Bastup says, watch behind you. I'm looking behind me, brother, don't worry. And I've got a 6th sense, and I'm also packing a 45, so I'm not really that worried about it. But right now I'm doing my lawyer workout. I'm doing some stretching. And we're gonna also do some judo bands. Brought my judo bands with me, so you guys can learn some throwing techniques. And also, I have sciatica, so give me an extra bunch of ones for going out here at like 20 degrees below zero to suffer, so I can stay in shape for my clients. All right, so just give me a second, guys. So the first thing you want to do, especially when it's cold outside, is you want to stretch, because you want to make sure that your body is warm and limber, because you can easily tear a muscle. All right, so that's all we're doing. We're just doing a light stretch. Just watch what I do. You can just emulate me. All right, watch. Just rolling at the hips, side to side, loosening up that spinal erector muscle. Same with your knees. And I have bad knees. I've had knee surgery, injured myself in the Marine Corps. So this hurts like a mother effer, man. This is about a 15 on a 1 to 10. Then if you have balance, stretch your quads like this, right? Kick it out. All right, and then we can do some stretching over here too. So I just find a step ladder. Check it out, guys. I just find a step ladder over at the park. Just take one of your legs, put it right there, and then turn the opposite direction and get your lower back. Just like that. Other side. Reverse grip. Turn. Let that lower back flex out. All right. All right, so we're gonna do some chest right now. And all you gotta do is find a slide. Check it out how easy this is, guys. Just find a slide. Right now, to stretch your chest out, because it's burning up right now, right? All you gotta do, lean back, push down with your arms like this. Oh man, that was unbelievable. What an ass kicker, you guys. It's freezing right now, guys. It is like freaking cold as can be. Nice, do a cow pose. Yeah, I know that they call it that, I think, in yoga, but this is just all traditional judo stretching that I've been doing since I was about 6. Whew. All right, now the next one we're gonna do, by the way, it is so cold, probably gonna stick to this thing, but hopefully you guys can see my little workout area. I try to do this early enough to where there's not a lot of people around because they probably think I'm a nut job. Woo. Oh my God, guys. I think I just got frostbite on my hands. So I think that'll be enough pull-ups just because next time I'll have to wear gloves. All right, so what we'll do right now, because it's so damn cold out here, let's get warm. Let's do some uke bands. So in Japanese, your uke is your partner. And so I have these uke bands that I train with. Here, I'll show you. So this represents the sleeve of a gi, see? I don't know if you guys can see that. And this represents the lapel of the blouse part, right? See that? All right. Yeah, kind of like a yoga mat. All right, hold on. We'll try to get y'all set up with a viewpoint. Just got to give me a second to set up, and we'll do a nice little lawyer workout before all the civilian slime show up and ruin it for us. All right. All right, that looks pretty good. Actually, hold on. Let me loop it under this one. Yeah. So sleeve, lapel. So the first step in judo is kazushi. You want to throw your opponent off balance. You can't throw anybody if they're a solid oak. So you want to, right? You want to get them off balance. Pull, push, pull, right? And you just come in, throw. Throw. I know my form's not that good because I'm cold, but typically, we'll slow it down for you. Pull in with the sleeve, lapel, and then watch my legs. Bend, bend, and then push. at the hip. That's where you explode all at the same time. It's one motion. Oops, band's got jacked up, hold on. All right, so that's the two-handed method, right? Lapel and arm grip. All right, here's a one-handed method with the sleeve. So, same thing. Now you got one hand free. So you're throwing punches, right? Or you could just be disabled. Maybe you got shot, right? Maybe you got a stab wound, or your fingers or your hands cut. You can't grab, right? Maybe it came at you with a knife, or she. But you still have the sleeve. Same principle, kazushi, pull, push, right? So I'm gonna pull, right, push, come at them, right? Pull or push, right? Get them off balance, kazushi, and then pull them in, put my arm under their armpit. Same principle. See how I'm bending at the knees? And then one movement, throw. Lift up with your butt and throw. So here's how it should look. Whew. Man, that was an ass kicker. So give me a bunch of ones for an old guy. I do it both. Tiniablas abismos. That's right, I do it for all you guys because I care about people, and I don't like excuse makers because I have serious injuries and I'm out here freezing my ass off trying to teach people there's no excuse. We're all God's children and we need to help each other. And so it does feel great, but I am cold. Woo, right on, Nate. All right, so really quick, we're gonna get through it before people start showing up. All right. So for all you people who lost homes in the PG&E fires, here's some steps that you can take. And by the way, we do have evidence that PG&E negligently maintained some power lines which sparked the fire. And then we know that illegal aliens were running around with blowtorches, as well as suspected Antifa members burning stuff down, because that's what communists do, right? That's what they learn on their college campuses, how to hate America and how to despise everybody who works for a living. So bottom line is PG&E, more likely than not, is the responsible party for the spark. Now, the fire response and lack of response and inability to respond rests squarely on the shoulders of Gavin Newsom and the leadership of LA County and LA City Palisades Fire Department, okay? So you're gonna have government claims as well as PG&E. They're all gonna sue each other as soon as you sue one. So you need to be prepared and you need to sue everybody in advance. And then you can let them seek contribution from one another, okay? So contribution just means they'll seek recovery from each other and fight it out amongst themselves. But if you don't sue the right party, you will forfeit your right to recover against the ultimately responsible party. So you've got to sue everyone. Give me a bunch of ones if you understand. And that's why it's so important to hire a lawyer who knows what the hell they're doing. So first thing you want to do is collect evidence. Now, evidence can be in the form of stuff that you find online even, right? A news report, that could be considered evidence. especially if it's backed up by additional evidence. So like a fishing expedition can lead to more evidence. So the first thing you want to do is, for example, the Washington Post reported visual evidence suggesting the fire started near a previous fire site where PG&E was involved, and that could be pivotal in establishing negligence or fault here. Next thing, legal representation. You want to hire a decent lawyer, and that is exactly the kind of law that I practice. The next thing you want to do is investigate official reports. Here, let me bust down my Uki bands and we'll get into the rest. Well, we're starting to get some sunlight out here, at least. Man, oh man, this is a butt kicker. All right. So, now, official reports. You want to look into things like CAL FIRE or California Public Utilities Commission reports, right? Look for any findings or conclusions. That's what I'll do as your lawyer. Then you want to file a lawsuit. Well, here, like I said earlier, you may have to bring government claims against these other agencies, so it's going to take a little longer to sue them. But you could bring your claim against PG&E like today. Like if you hired me today, I'd have a lawsuit filed by tomorrow. Your attorney will draft the complaint, will file it in the appropriate court. Oh, by the way, the fire trucks that are coming in from out of state, the word is that woke California is forcing them all to drive up to Sacramento to get approved, since they're not, approved diesel engines or whatever. So they'll have to go all the way to Sacramento and then drive down to LA. So they're basically being forced to turn around. Talk about incompetent leadership in the state of California, right? A bunch of freaking clowns. It's like a safe space college campus took over the entire state. Like a false religion of Marxism, right? So now another thing you might want to consider is a class action. So you might want to, since most of the residents are similarly situated, right? Now there's another twist to this, and it turns out that most of the homes that burned had these lithium fire water meters or electrical meters, and we know that those things can just spark flames, and once they go, they burn like a freaking white phosphorus grenade. So that's another issue you want to consider. And then, yeah, they did have a destination, Quantum Reality. They were going to LA. But, yeah, you can do the research online instead of asking me. Or you can go ask your Marxist college professor to tell you what to think. But what you want to do is you'd want to serve the process. You could notify PG&E and serve them. And then you go through what's called discovery. And both sides exchange evidence and information and documents, and the phase can be lengthy, where your attorney will need them to delve into PG&E's maintenance records and safety procedures and any prior incidents. And then settlement negotiations, pre-trial. Many lawsuits against PG&E have ended in settlements, and therefore before going to trial. And yeah, and I've won millions of dollars from suing these guys. You might have to go to trial if you can't win, so that's something that you can do. But by the way, with respect to the fire trucks being sent, so if the city of LA says, send your fire truck, we need your help, from someone in Arizona, as soon as they try to cross California's border, they're being told by the California, whatever they are, those guys at the border, that they have to go to Sacramento first. So it's another example of agencies not communicating properly with each other. No, not all lawyers, just when we deal with some dumbass comment from some smartass who thinks he's got a brain when he doesn't. But recovery of damages, compensation. If successful, your damages might recover property loss, personal injuries, emotional distress, and other losses. The exact compensation would depend on the specifics of your case and how damages are assessed. And now, if for some reason you lost at trial, you could file an appeal, and that's my area of expertise, and that's what Alan Beck and I do. So, and now there might be some other post-trial actions as well. In a nutshell, that's how you would sue for these California fires. Man, it's cold out here. Holy crap. All right. Well, hopefully you guys had some fun watching me do my uki bands in the Arctic temperatures of Summerlin, Nevada. It is cold. Holy crap. All right. So hopefully you guys got a little bit of a lesson in how to sue. Now the issue is going to be these lawsuits against the city of LA, Palisades Fire and all that stuff. That's going to be an issue. Now I think Palisades uses LA County Fire, if I'm not mistaken, but it could be LA City. I've got to talk to my law clerk and figure out what we're going to do as far as initial discovery. But I've already signed up a couple of cases for people who have lost their homes, and we're working on potentially putting together a class action or pooling our resources with a couple of other firms that I like, because it's going to be very expensive. You know that Newsom and LA they'd rather spend $500,000 a year on salaries for unqualified leadership than they would rehiring all the 500 firefighters they fired for refusing to take their safe and effective, thing that they forced them to take. And they said, no, we're not taking that. We're critical thinkers. We're not going to take something that's experimental. So they fired them, right? So if they would have spent their time doing that, the response maybe would have been a lot better. So you better believe it. And it's not just going to be PG&E. You're right, Ms. Taro. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of people, a lot of different agencies, and we have to be ready. They're going to have a huge war chest, and these are incompetent politicians, and many of them are World Economic Forum young global leaders, and their goal is to create 15-minute cities and basically make us all prisoners. You know, you'll own nothing and be happy. And they hate our founding fathers and everything that America stands for. And these people are going to pull out every stop to try and make sure that we cannot pin liability on their incompetent leadership. So suing PG&E has a couple of other issues. Remember, they're under the management and guidance of all these politicians, and they donate tons of money, PG&E and these other big corporations, to these corrupt politicians so they can get carve-outs and exceptions. And that's the problem. The carve-outs and exceptions are the big problem that I have, that they're trying to avoid liability. So it's a real problem for me. Check it out. Yes, and Jen, you're right. So governors and government officials do have qualified immunity, but remember, qualified immunity just means that it's qualified. It doesn't mean that it's absolute. So it just means that now I have to go and argue in court that immunity doesn't apply here because of X, Y, and Z. An intentional act, gross or recklessness, right? Gross negligence or recklessness. So hopefully you guys kind of understand. Yeah, Jen. Hey, you're right, Greg. Prison Planet. Man, check out this beautiful moon, though, while it's still up. You guys see that? And we try to zoom in. And look below at those beautiful Red Rock Mountains. I mean, you can't get much more beautiful than Summerlin, Nevada, in my opinion. It's gorgeous. Yeah, I was going to move to Maui a couple of years ago with my wife. We used to go there for a couple months every year. But, man, it's like $20 to buy a gallon of milk now. It's not even worth it. All the stuff is shipped in by union labor, AKA the Democrat Party, right? So it's extremely expensive. You can't afford to survive there and thrive. Most people that work there, because of all their government mandates with, you know, you gotta You got to have free health care. In other words, you got to pay for someone else's health care out of your paycheck. You can't have a regular job. So you have to have part-time jobs to get out of that mandate. And so everybody has like 5 or 6 jobs. Just another example of how the government destroys the ability of the common man to have a good life in the interest of making everyone equal, which is impossible. I mean, if brothers and sisters aren't equal out of the womb and parents can't make them equal, how's the government going to make us equal? We have equal opportunity, not equal lives. And that's the way God wanted it. Let's take a look at these mountains again. Wow, look at that, guys. Look at that moon. Look at that, holy moly. Just gorgeous, right, guys? All right, so. Yep. Yeah, it's getting up there, Bruce. Good seeing you, brother. Hopefully you didn't miss my workout. I really like to motivate you guys to train, stay in shape, and give thanks to your Creator that we're alive and we have these opportunities to experience life with each other for the short time we're on this planet. So does anybody have any questions for me while I'm walking back to the war room? Yeah, that's right, Mias. I like Mias. She's cool. Yeah, let's take a look here. I'm kind of scrolling as I'm walking, looking for any questions. Yeah. God is good. That's right. Here, take a look at these mountains. So that is the Red Rock Mountains. And that is the beautiful full moon. Hope you guys saw that. This orientation is blocked. All right. Did you guys see that? I almost just busted my face open. On a curb. Check out those beautiful Red Rock Mountains. Drop dead, right? It's beautiful. All right. You and your phone are okay. No, I tripped on a curb doing stupid civilian stuff. It's all right though. I got to tell you guys, judo comes in handy. It's having that natural balance and fall break. It saved my life so many times. I'll tell you what else really helped. I'm not gonna lie, reflexes. Trying to reconnect, guys. So I used to face all the shelves in the electrical department, and when stuff would drop out of the shelf, reflexes are really good with Miyagi, right? Mr. Miyagi. Dude, Mias, this phone was $1,600. It's like the badass iPhone 16 with like the terabyte and all that stuff. And I got it because I knew that Dick Heller was going to be coming out to Nevada for the SHOT Show. So just in case I'm able to get in and to do some filming, I wanted to bring you guys some cool entertainment and show you all the cool stuff. I know, tell me about it, Mias. $10 from Boost Mobile. Yeah. Well, anyway, so guys, do you have any questions about suing PG&E or filing a fire damage lawsuit? My fortes, and I'm really good at it. So my specialty, you need to get a hold of me. Call me at 833-LETS-SUE. That's through the law firm. And my specialty is bringing personal injury claims. Now, keep in mind, for property damage claims, outside government claims, you do have these fires. You may have suffered inhalation, and those are cancerous substances, right? A lot of those old homes were built with cancerous stuff. And when it burns, you inhale that. So keep that in mind. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's a bad connection right through here, guys. Hopefully it's picking up now. But it's a beautiful day. Absolutely gorgeous. Sun's coming up. I'm going to go and get myself a nice Epsom salt bath. Have a nice hot cup of coffee and try to get squared away. Have a deposition today. I'm going to write some articles about how to sue for these fires too. Now, if anybody wants to volunteer some time to help me out, I do need some help. If you know how to do WordPress, if you have experience doing SEO, if you're connected with other lawyers who have websites, I have a bunch of different websites in my network at the Circle of Legal Trust of other lawyers, and we can all link back and forth to each other and help each other build our brands. But the key is I don't want to do business with you unless you believe in natural law. And I don't want statists. I want people to understand that our rights come from our creator, not from the state. I don't want to deal with a bunch of college campus safe space clowns who try to tell me that girls are boys and boys are girls. You guys can go pound sand. I want real Americans who have traditional American values, who love their country. If you guys want to do business with me, we can help each other make America a better place. So I want to encourage all of you guys to homeschool, homestead, grow your own food, and protect your wives and kids with your lives. So even if you pass away, your sons and daughters will always remember that you stood tall for them. And if you guys don't have any questions, I'll give you a couple of minutes to finish your conversations with one another, and we can call it a day. All right, so go ahead and give you a couple seconds, wrap it up, and I'm gonna bone out. All right. All right, guys, with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe, double tap that screen, make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are gonna take down this channel. Semper Fi, do or die.